In this video, I'll share with you the 7 things I wish I knew before we purchased our first house that could have saved us a lot of time and money. So stay tuned. Hey, welcome back, Military Journeyman. If you're new to this channel, my name is Julian Miata. I'm an active duty military member and real estate agent in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. My goal through this channel is to help you along your military journey by giving you the best military tips and money-saving hacks. So subscribe so you can keep up to date. So my wife and I recently just purchased our first home, and let me tell you, this was such a learning experience. And the things that I wish I knew now, I wish I could just go back in time and kind of correct those things. I don't regret our decision on purchasing this house, but these things could have saved me a lot of time, headache, and money if I had just known these things prior to moving in. And hopefully through this channel and through this video that you can learn how to avoid some of these common mistakes when you're buying your first home. The first tip is when you're working with your lender. So when your lender is explaining to you the rates or the APR, your rate is like let's say for example 4.5, but your APR is the interest on top of that, and that could be like 4.675, whatever it is. That's a key thing to differentiate, is that if they're telling you the rate, that doesn't mean that's what you're actually going to be paying. The APR is what you want to pay attention to. Now, the thing about the rates and the APRs is that when you lock in a rate, that's it. So if you're trying to get like the best rate possible and you're worried that the rate's going to go up, you can lock in a rate and that's going to be set. You can do that before you actually move into your home, but when I was looking online and I was trying to find out the different types of rates and stuff like that, I saw that you can actually do a floating rate, which means 30 days after you close on your home, they can lock your rate in 30 days after. So let's say if I had known and I saw at the time when I was looking to buy my home that the rates were going down, I could have said, oh, I just want it to float down. I don't want to lock in a rate. And I could have gotten an even lower rate in the future if I had just waited. But I didn't know that when I was negotiating on the best rate possible, because I had a couple lenders that I was trying to compete against. When one lender was saying, hey, we'll give you this rate, and this lender was saying this, I locked into that rate, and I didn't really realize that I couldn't change that after, because I really would have liked to float down. So that's the important thing. Number one is just realize that you can lock in a rate, or you can make a rate float down after 30 days, but you can't choose one or the other. You can't choose a lock in and then a float. Once you're locked in, that's it. Number 2 is use a home inspector with a contractor. Now, my home inspector, he went through and he checked everything and he did a good job, but there's a lot of things that he missed that a contractor with a real keen eye, a real professional would have caught. Now, I've been working with a contractor in renovating our Airbnb downstairs, and working with him and just realizing like how many of the finer details of this home that we missed that I wish I could have had caught with the home inspector. Things like the heating for our water heater. The home inspector knew that the water heater wasn't heating up, but we didn't realize that the water was only lasting like 10 minutes. Now, these are things that maybe a home inspector could have caught for you, but there's so much to inspecting a home that just one person, that's a lot of pressure to put on one person. Now, if you have a contractor or someone that knows like how much it's going to cost to fix these things and stuff like that, you can negotiate into the home inspection to be like, hey, you need to fix this or you need to fix that. And that could have saved us a lot of money, from just little things here and there that start to add up. That's something that I really wish I would have done. Number 3 is that you need to act fast when there's a home that you like. So the thing is, we actually purchased our home in an off season, so it was kind of like slower during the winter months. But when there's a home that you see, there's other people that want that home as well. You're not the only one. If you see a beautiful home, that's because someone else probably thinks it's beautiful. If there's an ugly home, well, chances are it's everybody else thinks that it's ugly and nobody else will want it. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but people tend to want to go after the same homes, unfortunately. Like there was a home, it was on the market for 40 days, and my wife and I just recently started looking at homes and we're like, oh wow, this is beautiful. Right after that, the home was off the market. So that's something you need to do. You need to act fast when there's a home that you want. Number 4 is realize that your real estate agent can negotiate based off of the terms that you want. So for us, our real estate agent was able to negotiate for all the closing costs to be paid for. We actually had $12,000 put towards closing. So we actually moved into our home and we got our earnest money deposit back, which was like $3,700, $3,700 that we got back at closing, and we moved in for free. Now, we did have to increase the mortgage, the loan, a little bit by $10,000. So essentially, we were paying a little bit more, but we were able to keep that money and be able to use that towards renovations, which was nice. Realize that your real estate agent can negotiate on very nice terms. And what I actually found out while talking to the VA loan representative was that if the closing costs, if they wrap in the closing costs, like let's say they had done $15,000 and I had some credit card debt, you can actually work that credit card debt into the closing costs and have the seller actually pay for your debt, which is a really nice tip that I found out that my real estate agent didn't even know. Maybe use that one if you have a little bit of debt on your credit card before you go into your next purchase. And if your goal is to have closing costs paid for, wrap that debt into the closing cost. Number 5 is be wary of house flips. So when we were looking online and we saw this house that it was previously sold in November and we were purchasing it in January, that was a very short window that they actually had this house from one tenant to the next. Now, house flips, we thought like this is really nice, that everything's new, everything's fresh, but you have to be very wary of house flips before you move into them. There was little details that that my wife and I just couldn't have noticed, and the home inspector, him not being a contractor, just being a home inspector, didn't notice these things, like the way that the flooring was set, or the trimming, or the finer details in the little crevices. We started noticing some really shoddy craftsmanship, and that could have been avoided if we had a contractor with us. Now, we ultimately, we love our home and this is great, but the finer details, we wish we could have had someone walk through us and tell us like, hey, this place actually does need a little bit of work. And when we started tearing down walls and started realizing like, so there was some issues there that was just from poor craftsmanship. So if you're seeing little things on the outside, just understand that maybe behind the walls, it's not any better. Number 6 is have your home inspector do a thorough walkthrough after they have done their first walkthrough. So typically the home inspector will go through, they'll say, hey, these are the issues and these are the things that the seller needs to repair or that you need to get some money back for. Now, if they do repair things, make sure that you have a home inspector go back and verify. Go back and test all the things. Like if they say that if the water was bad, or if an element on the water heater needed to get replaced, or whatever it is, make sure that the home inspector does a thorough walkthrough and checks everything that needed to be corrected. Because when we went through our home, we started noticing that things that the seller said that they had fixed, they didn't actually fix. Now, that's costing us money, which could have been corrected on the seller's behalf. Number 7 is once you buy it, it's yours. There's no going back to the seller and saying, hey, you owe me this, or hey, you owe me that, because once you sign that dotted line, there's no going back. You can't change the things that they missed, like if they didn't fix things or if there was actually some issues with the home. That's your property, that's your problem now. And that's something that I kind of wish that I had known prior to purchasing this house, because I would have maybe done a little bit things different. If I had known the knowledge that I have now going in, I would have definitely pointed out like, hey, there's these issues, or there's this, and this is something that we should be concerned about. But now we have to pay the cost for the things that the seller did previously, but it's just something to be aware of, and hopefully that you can use to your benefit when purchasing your first home or investment property. Question of the day: what was the number 1 tip that you found useful in this video? Leave it in the comments section down below. Hope you guys liked this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up and let me know that you like this video and you like the tips in it. If you haven't already, subscribe. Now, if you like this video and you want to know what other ways you can save money, check out this video right here, or keep watching right here. Until next time, guys, peace out.